Hey, this is AJ Farzad with Success with LOA.blogspot.com, and would you know it, as soon as I start, there's banging going on. Today I have a pretty cool treat for you. I'm going to be interviewing one of my closest friends, my first martial arts instructor, my buddy from high school, David Collings. He is the headmaster of the Martial Arts Training Alliance and also the owner and the head instructor of Collings Martial Arts Academy and Fitness Center in Long Beach, California. We're going to go into the nitty-gritty of what has made him successful in doing this over 20 years, right?
30.
Over 30 years in a very, very competitive market. So stay tuned and we'll get to that in a second. Okay, cool. David, tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in martial arts? How long, why did you get into martial arts? Things like that, and then we'll get into the specific questions.
For sure. Well, I've been training martial arts for 30 years. Started when I was 12. So being 12 years old, I started for the same reasons most kids do. I saw it on TV, saw movies. It looked like something I wanted to do, and then quickly realized once I was in the academy training that it was a lot more to it than that. It was more of a lifestyle. It took a lot of commitment, and being an individual experience that martial arts is, meaning that you don't have to worry about keeping up with a team or worry about the team trying to keep up with you. It's all based on your own performance. That was something that really drew me in as well. And then early age of probably 15 is when I realized that I wanted to be a martial arts instructor. I wanted to teach.
Awesome. And 30 years, huh?
Yes.
Wow, has it been that long, huh?
Yeah.
By far one of the best teachers I've ever had, so. Alrighty, so tell me a little bit about how you actually got into the business end of the martial arts.
Well, that was my dad's fault. My dad knew early on that he wanted to have a family school. As you know, Ali, I have a twin brother, and he also taught for many years. And my dad, it was his dream to have a family school where my brother and he taught together in our school, and we were able to do that when I was it was 92 when I was 21, and we opened our first school in the Cal Heights, Bixby Knolls area of Long Beach, and had a real successful run over there.
Awesome. Most kids out of high school or even college have what I like to call employee mentality.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I was worried about when I graduated from college is, who am I going to work for?
Right.
What made a difference for you and your brother that you wanted to actually own a business and go to the business sector of the economy?
Well, obviously you have to have a job, and watching my instructor run his school and seeing the joy of it, and there is a joy to it because you're helping people better themselves, especially children and that kind of thing. But also there's the freedom of you make your own hours, you're your own boss, you make the rules. But even with that said, I have to be honest, I'm probably one of the toughest bosses I've ever had. You know what I mean? I tell myself, yeah, I'm going to take this day off, and before I know it, that day that I plan to take off, I've been in the school 3 times taking care of something. You know what I mean? But it is, and not only that, it's all your success. You know what I mean? Any mistakes you make, you own those mistakes. Any successes you have, you own those successes, and it's all because of yourself. And that's one of the best things to experience when you have your own business.
Excellent. So owning your own business doesn't mean that you sleep all day and money's just made by itself, huh?
No, you got to wear all the hats, man.
Okay, let's talk about some of the challenges that in the past 20, 30 years you've experienced, some of those big challenges that hits a business. Talk to me about those and how you guys were able to overcome them.
Well, one of the things that you'll hear if you talk to any successful martial arts school owner, your bread and butter in the martial arts industry is children. And fortunately, I have a great rapport with kids. I have an incredible kids program. But kids are exposed to everything, so you're always in competition with soccer, you're in competition with summer camp, you're in competition with baseball. So you have to try to figure out different ways to kind of keep things fresh. Maybe have your own summer camp, have some after-school programs. We do a lot of, for the school year, one of the things that the parents like to see, we do a lot of grade incentive programs. Like if you do this, you get a special certificate and patch if you come in with a good report card or a successful test that week, and those kind of things. So you just got to be creative. But so that's one of the challenges is that you're in competition with other activities, and then of course in recent years the economy has become a big challenge too, because people are a little nervous, you know what I mean, and sometimes the first things they want to give up are what are referred to as the extras, and a lot of people consider martial arts training an extra in life. So we try to bump up marketing a little bit if we can, and that kind of thing during those tougher times, you know what I mean. But I would say those are the two main challenges.
That's interesting. So when things are actually going against the economy, you guys increase your advertising.
But you got to do it in a, like, what do they call that? Like a guerrilla marketing kind of thing, very low end. A lot of like one of the things we do is we're in a really nice centralized area where we have a great school system all around us with middle schools and elementary schools and even high schools. And when those schools have activities, it's very easy to go and present there, and it usually costs nothing. Like if it's a carnival, and we set up a booth, and we set up some mats, and we do some demonstrations, and we bring material to promote the school, and that usually costs very little. So we try to bump up that kind of marketing. You know what I mean? Not the big print ads in the magazines with the expensive things, but more the other.
Excellent. Is that word of mouth advertising is a lot better
we
than...
have a lot of our clientele are on referrals, especially the kids, because the other parents see, little Timmy's shy and little Timmy's, having trouble in school, and then all of a sudden he's turned himself around, he's showing some confidence, he's showing focus, and then the parents kind of go, what's going on? And Timmy's parents say, well, we enrolled him in martial arts at Collings Martial Arts Academy, and then the other parent wants to see the same success in their children, and that happens quite a bit with us.
Awesome. So follow up to that, what do you think is the key to making you successful in a very competitive market?
And I keep bringing it back to the kids. I've had several martial artists come to me because of my school and say, hey, I would like to start a school, give me some pointers, but wait, I just don't want to teach children. And I always just kind of pat them on the back and say, well, good luck, because the kids are where the business is in the martial arts industry. So we have a very good, myself and my staff have a very good rapport with the children. We make classes a lot of fun, but productive. We don't do a lot of busy gameplay, time filler things. Everything we do in the children's classes are all about martial arts. And so we have, good rapport with the schools. Also, location, your location is everything, you know what I mean? If you're in a location that you have a lot of exposure, you obviously save a lot on advertising and marketing, because everything's walked by and word of mouth, especially if you have what are referred to as anchor stores near your school. You got a Starbucks, you got a Target, you got a Trader Joe's. Those are good things to have. Those are good neighbors to have. And again, like I said, kind of going back a little bit with the kids, we do have a very successful adults program as well. Adult students, with the adult students these days, with the success, you want to focus on fitness, and not a lot of adults realize that traditional martial arts involves a lot of fitness. Adults tend to think in recent times that the traditional martial arts with belt systems and things like that are more for children. That's more like AYSO, when it's not. AJ and I both know, all the years that we've trained, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of physical fitness. You have to be to a certain physical point to pass a certain test for a certain belt. There is a lot of fitness involved in martial arts, and that's a big draw for adults. I mean, it should be.
You mentioned some things like anchor stores and things like these are business terms. Do you have an MBA? How did you learn your business sense?
The hard way.
School of Hard Knocks.
Just doing it and figuring it out and making a lot of mistakes and making a lot of good moves. But yeah, I learned just by running my school, Again, I would have probably love to have gone and gotten a business degree, and if I could do it again, I probably would. But yeah, I learned what I know just from doing it, just from day to day.
There's a lot of people that come to you to high ranking. We won't mention any names. There's a lot of people that come to you to help them with their schools. Have you experienced, and these are, I'm sorry, I'm coming up with these questions. I know we didn't prep on this, so
okay.
we're going to ad lib here, but it's becoming interesting. So do you see that they've actually had the business sense, but they just don't have the, how do I put it, the real world experience? Do you think that's something?
I've actually seen more of the opposite. I've seen that they have all the tools in the world. They're great martial artists. They're pretty decent instructors, but they don't have the business sense. They don't realize that you can't be, sometimes you can't be 5 minutes late to a class. The last thing you want is coming to your academy and having people wait outside the door. People don't like that. They want to come in, they want to warm up, they want the place to be ready for them. And so it's more the other side. I see the ability and the skill are way up here, but the business sense isn't quite there yet. And I learned the business sense, quite honestly, from our teacher, Master Melman. He had, at one point he had, I believe, 6 schools, and they were all run very well. And I still use a lot of the things that I learned from him in my day to day. So I had some good role models too.
Excellent. So that brings me to the mentorship. How valuable is actually finding a mentor?
Very. I think it's very valuable. Yeah, I think it's incredibly valuable. And even with, like I said, with our instructor, I think a good mentor will teach you their mistakes as well. And I did learn that from him, and he was very upfront and honest. Like, I did this, didn't work. I did this mistake. You know what I mean? So he also, gave me the pitfalls to look out for as well. So I felt prepared.
Excellent. What would you tell someone that likes to start a martial arts business now in this economy?
Well, like I said, you have to have a good rapport with not just people, but kids. You have to know how to treat kids and teach children. Parents want to take their kids to a place that their children are going to be treated with the respect that they feel their kid deserves. But you also have to be able to balance that with being authoritative and teaching them the etiquette of the school and that kind of thing. With adults, you have to be able to keep them interested. That's the hardest part. Adults, you would think it would be the kids with the attention spans, but the adult attention span in martial arts is way smaller. So you want to really keep the adults interested, and you just have to have a dynamic program, a very good, exciting curriculum, and then again, you have to really research your location. You got to do demographic reports. You got to look at the stores that are around you. You got to look at anything from your neighbors to how well is the parking lot lit at night, that kind of thing. You got to think to yourself, is this a parking lot that a parent would feel safe walking their child away from the classroom to the car in? All these kind of things come into play. And you got to think of all of them, and it's pretty tough. But yeah, if you can do that, if you can, keep all your ducks in a row, I say do it. It's a fun business. There's nothing like giving people something that feels. There's nothing like the feeling of feeling like you've helped someone better themselves, or they come to you and they say, because of this class, I'm able to do this now, and that's the rewarding part. That's very rewarding, is to be able to help people in that way.
Okay, and then in closing, any advice you want to give people on using the technology, the internet, social media, how important that has been?
You have to, and you can't be afraid of it just because you don't understand it, because there are, I have a handful of assistant instructors who are like in their early 20s, late teens, and if I don't know what to do, I have all the answers right there. Don't be afraid to ask questions, but yeah, that's just how it is now. Everybody's got a Facebook page, everybody's on Twitter, everybody, you know what I mean? Now there's Instagram, and so you have to not be afraid of the technology. You have to embrace it, and don't be afraid to use it, because that's how people are, everybody gets their news on YouTube. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, David. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure the readers of my blog will enjoy this as well.
Thank you.
It's awesome.